Thank you for tuning in to this interview. As Miss Robin mentioned, her introduction to music came from her mother. During that disaster...
They're fighting again?
Don't be afraid. Look here.
It's a bird. Look, a bird. I want to hear more of Miss Robin's story. Do you know her, Miss?
Let me tell you all a secret. This bird knows Robin. It knows all about her. During that disaster, Robin couldn't hear anything except for the loud ringing in her ears. But she knew that her mother was singing to her. She could see her mother's lips moving. She could feel her mother's breath. You'll be safe and sound. She could hear that silent wish.
Oh my god.
One day, you'll step onto an even bigger stage. Even more people will hear you sing, and they'll sing with you.
No, they'll sing with both of us, brother.
Right, both of us.
She wanted to spread that wish through song. And weave in even more wishes. But behind the beautiful sounds, there were noises of disharmony. Sounds of every form encircled her. The gazes of many followed her. She thought about fleeing, but something always stopped her. Because a singer could never turn her back on her audience. Or herself. The self that others protected, that wanted to protect others, that others forgave, that wanted to forgive others, that wanted to make her wishes come true. The self that wanted to make others' wishes come true. For every self, for every wish, she couldn't give up.
Miss, I also want to sing on stage and sing for Miss Robin. Can my wish come true?
Of course it can. Let's start now. The songs you sing, she will absolutely love them.
Thank you, Miss Robin. I want to be a doctor. I want to keep singing when I grow up. The fighting's almost over.
Brother, our wish is slowly coming true.
This is the end of our interview. It is reported that Miss Robin has now left for Penacony. Dear friends, we hope to see you again on the planet of festivities.
What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was... I have so many questions. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what happened either. I thought that this was gonna be like a very... The thumbnail just... It looked very like smiley and happy. So I was like, oh my gosh. Great. And then it starts off with war. And then I'm like, where is she from? Because she made her way over to Penacony, so she, I think it was said that she was from there, but then left, and then is coming back. And then these posters on the wall, so like she is known, so she does still have her status in her fame, and she is still the singer renowned across the universe, but she's here, and she's in a world and a planet that is under attack, and it looks like she's a teacher. Oh my gosh. I'm just like, what is going on? Tabloids, gain 20 pounds in a week, Robin has binge eating. Oh my gosh. And then she's keeping up appearances, trying to maintain some sort of privacy. Okay, let's watch that again. I just wanted to like have a clean watch through because I want to be able to see it and not interrupt.
Thank you for tuning in to this interview.
Miss Teacher.
As Miss Robin mentioned, her introduction to music came from her mother. During that disaster,
They're fighting again?
Oh my gosh. At first, like, that sound sounded like a monster, but then it may have just been like a chair scraping against the floor.
Fighting again?
That. I was like, oh my gosh, these kids are gonna get, like, eaten alive.
into this interview.
Miss Teacher.
As Miss Robin mentioned, her introduction to music came from her mother.
So they're all listening to this radio about an interview with Robin, and it looks like Robin is here talking to these kids.
Don't be afraid. Look here.
It's a bird. Look, a bird. I want to hear more of Miss Robin's story. Do you know her, Miss?
Let me tell you all a secret. This bird.
So if she is there, and they're like, tell us about Miss Robin, then is she there under a false name? But then they must know that she is Robin because there are posters of Robin on the wall. Then again, they're not in like the greatest conditions, so maybe they can't like make it out like her face exactly. And then like the other part of me that was like, oh my gosh, what if her name, like my initial thought, and I don't think that it will track after seeing more of this video, but like when she first was doing this, I was like, what if, oh, thank you so much for subscribing. I was like, what if her name, Robin, wasn't even Robin? Like, what if Robin came about as just like that kind of like beacon of hope, that kind of like just this story of inspiration and upliftingness, that's something that she kind of like attached to, because the only thing that she could do in this time of war with what they had, which was literally just candlelight, was to create shadows on the wall. So then if she kind of put all of her attention and focus onto this like idea of a Robin and basically just like a story, and that's kind of the only thing that they had to entertain themselves, because if they're hiding in a room in this bunker as all of this is going on outside of this small little entrapped world, then they would put so much value and focus on like, okay, just like think of the Robin and then everything will be fine, because that's what they kind of like, that kind of symbolized their hope and freedom and future. So then it's like, is that how the persona Robin came about? Thank you so much for subscribing. It's like, I mean, we're only like 20 seconds in and I already have so many questions. It's the hope that she wants to be the one to give to other people. So then it's like, if she's from this world where it is so like war torn, then that would make sense that she had that idea and that thought from hiding underground or something, and then kind of kept that going. The picture of her singing is out of a cage, so it probably means that her singing makes her feel free.
Look, a bird. I want to hear more of Miss Robin's story. Do you know her, Miss?
Lore Channel 1. Yeah, they're like, do you know her? So then, because then it's like, but it like her pictures are on the wall, so like that it's like it's confusing. It's confusing
Secret.
right now.
This bird knows Robin. It knows all about her. During that disaster, Robin couldn't hear anything except for the loud ringing in her ears.
During that disaster, Robin couldn't hear anything except that loud ringing in her ears. But then when was that disaster? Is that actively ongoing, or is this a past event that had happened? I have so many questions.
Except for the loud ringing in her ears.
Oh my gosh. Alice did such a
She knew that her
freaking good
mother was
job.
singing to her.
But she knew that her mother was singing to her. So she had her mom and her brother in a very, very unhappy, unkind time.
She could see her mother's lips moving. She could feel her mother's breath. He would be safe and sound. She could hear that silent wish.
One day, you'll step onto an even bigger stage. Even more people will hear you sing, and they'll sing with you.
So she was a big dreamer even when she was little. And her family was supportive of her. So she at least like started in a really good environment.
I'll sing with both of us, brother.
Right, both of us.
That's a cartoon drawing of that creature that we had seen.
Both of us.
She wanted to spread that wish through song. And weave in even more wishes.
And then she got to where she wanted to be, where she always kind of dreamt of and envisioned herself on stage with the platform to reach out to other people and share her artistic side.
But behind
And then it looks like she's filming probably a commercial. Maybe she had a campaign with, it looks like fast food.
the beautiful sounds,
So she's doing her job. She has a promotional shoot.
there were noises of disharmony.
But then it looks like people took that and ran with it, as sometimes they do. And the media can be extraordinarily unkind, especially to women. And that, oh my gosh, I completely understand when like a lot of negativity is said and spewed online and in papers, I guess, about you. Like these people who may have a platform and have celebrity status, at the end of the day are still people. And I feel like a lot of times other people forget about that and they just are like, oh well, you know, it's my opinion and I'm entitled to it. But then people can be so cruel and so harsh that that does a lot of damage mentally to the celebrity who is really just an artist who is sharing their skills with the world. And that can be so detrimental mentally to someone. So I could see if she's like retreating and wanting to walk away from that and hide and run, because at a time like when you hear so much like hate about you online, it's just like, it's like, oh crap, like I don't even want to be a part of this anymore. So then you just kind of like run from it, which is what she's doing right now. She's in disguise, she's hiding, she's kind of trying to, you know, go out and about and live her normal life, but also stay separated enough from the media side and the paparazzi side, and she doesn't want to put more of herself out there. Which is also kind of like, I get that she has maybe like the long coat and the big coat to kind of, you know, like disguise herself from being recognized. But also, if you think about it, because she's not wearing a hat, so like it's less about the disguise maybe and more about like having an oversized coat as a way to hide her body from the media that is commenting on how she looks and how she should look. And that's so sad, because then it's like she can't even just be her normal self and like embrace who she is and how she looks, and she feels like she has to put on more in order to hide, in order to mitigate the attacks. Unknown man frequents Robin's house. You have more gossip and more things about people who are just like, everyone feels entitled to this. I'm just seeing the comments. What unknown man? Who is it? We must find him. No, Robin is my idol. That's it. It's like sometimes people feel a little too entitled to someone's life. And oh my gosh, that must be so exhausting to navigate. Oh my gosh.
Sounds of every form encircled her.
Sounds of every form encircled her, so I'm guessing it's all the noise of the rumors, the gossip, the hate, the criticism. And for her at that status, I'm sure that she has deals and partnerships and so on and so forth that she can't get away from and she can't back out of. So she, like, these are all probably previously negotiated that she has to take part in. She has to do a red carpet thing. She has to speak at a press event. And she's like obviously like not mentally doing well because of all of that. But she still is obligated to do those, make those appearances, make those performances happen. And she's just kind of going through the motions at that point. And she's very uncomfortable, as we can see here right now.
The gazes of many followed her.
She's running away, trying to find some semblance of privacy where she can at least like take a moment to breathe and collect herself. But again, everyone is following her. Everyone feels so entitled to every piece of her life, and it's like it's her life and she still needs to live it and have experiences that aren't under the watch of everybody. And like, she's entitled to her own privacy, and I feel so sad for her. So she led them astray, pointed them in a different direction.
She thought about fleeing.
That's interesting.
She thought
Because she led them astray, but led them off a bridge. Oh my gosh. Is that just symbolism? Or is that a recounting of an actual event?
She thought about fleeing, but something always stopped her. Because a singer could never turn her back on her audience. Or herself. The self that others protected. I wanted to protect others. That others forgave. That wanted to forgive others. That wanted to make her wishes come true. The self that wanted to make others' wishes come true. For every self, for every wish, she couldn't give up.
Yeah, here she is in what looks like, I'm assuming to be present time, right before she went to Penacony's Charmony Festival.
Miss, I also want to sing on stage and sing for Miss Robin.
Which then it's like, I'm like, did they come from this world and then move over to Penacony and then she moved back? Or was it that her and Sunday and her mom and her family were from Penacony, something happened there, and then she went here? But then I don't think that would be the case, because I think Penacony, like, if you think time-wise, like, I don't think that, I don't know, it just feels like if it were under so much attack, then, like, they could rebuild into what it is now with, like, this whole grand... But then, actually, like, we don't see much of Penacony outside the dreamscape, outside the hotel. It's, oh my gosh, I'm so intrigued. And then that also makes me think, like, she had the opportunity and the chance and absolutely, like, every ability to live in the safety and the comfort of Penacony, but it looks like she's choosing to live somewhere else, in an area that doesn't have that same comfort, doesn't have that same luxury. But she's doing so in a way to inspire other people, especially other kids, to chase their dreams and persevere.
My wish come true?
Of course it can. Let's start now. The songs you sing, she will absolutely love them.
And she's saying she, so it's definitely feeling like she's not revealing her true identity, and she's pretending that she's living, you know, like the normal life, and she isn't Robin. But I'm like, how is she able to get away with that when she's fully in her Robin hairstyle, face, and halo, and there's posters of Robin on the walls? Interesting.
Thank you, Miss Robin. I want to be a doctor. I want to keep singing when I grow up. The fighting's almost over.
Robin's a cosplayer.
Brother, our wish is slowly coming true.
This is the end of our interview. It is reported that Miss Robin has now left for Penacony. Dear friends, we hope to see you again on the planet of festivities.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you know, there's a lot to dissect here. And I mean, that's just kind of like the initial thoughts that just came to my head. It brings up so many questions, and it's exciting because it's like, with every character that they've introduced, there's so much more going on with them than we see at first. And I love that, because it's just like in everyday life, there's so much more to a person that is under the surface that we aren't aware of, and you never know what someone is going through. Oh, I'm so excited to see more of Robin's story. Oh my gosh. All right, well, that was the Myriad Celestia trailer for Robin, If We Had Wings.